The executive chairman of Breitbart News, Steve Bannon. Mr. Bannon, you're like, you did one interview that I've seen my entire life of you, although you've been on the program before. Good to see you, and you're joining us from Alabama tonight. We'll get to football in a minute. Tell us why you are in Alabama. Mike Pence was at one rally. You were at another for Roy Moore. Tell us why.
I'm here to support President Donald J. Trump. What I'm here to do is to support Donald J. Trump by having folks down here support Judge Roy Moore. I think Roy Moore is the guy that's going to represent Donald Trump and fight the establishment. I mean, it's very simple. This election is $30 million being spent by Mitch McConnell and that crew of corrupt and incompetent politicians and consultants. They've raised $30 million of outside money to destroy Judge Moore. Judge Moore's raised about $2 million. So, Sean, it's very clear to me. That's why you got Laura Ingraham and Levin and Dr. Savage and you know, Mark Meadows, everybody
and
is
me.
Support, that have been hardcore Trump supporters, and Sean Hannity, hardcore Trump supporters that have thrown down with Judge Moore. So I'm very proud to be down here. This is the first time I've really ever done a campaign event. I got the old bomber jacket on, the complete rig I used to wear during the campaign with President Trump. And I said tonight, you know, Sarah Palin, Louis Gohmert, all of us, the hardcore Trump people, we're not here to defy President Trump. We were here to praise and honor him. And we think the best way to do that is to send somebody to Washington, D.C. out of Alabama, the good folks of Alabama, to send somebody that's going to have Donald Trump's back.
I believe Roy Moore is going to be more the outsider. And the fact that Mitch McConnell and the establishment are pouring millions of dollars into this race, into that state, tells me that Luther Strange is going to end up being, in some ways, having to support them and more inclined to support them. And frankly, I think the biggest disappointment in D.C., you actually said it in an interview, I think to a certain extent Mitch McConnell does not support the president's agenda, economic agenda, and it's obvious. He hasn't gotten a thing done, Steve, in 8 months. We're now in the 9th month of the Trump presidency. There's no excuse for that, in my opinion.
It's very simple. You know, Strange can't sit there and say, I'm going to stand up to Mitch McConnell. I'm going to Washington, stand up to him. Mitch McConnell's giving him $30 million. $30 million not to come down here to Alabama and debate the issues. They're not debating illegal immigration or the trade deals or anything like that. What this was about was the politics of personal destruction. The exact same game plan that they ran on Donald Trump. This is not about doing everything about a debate. This is about trying to destroy Roy Moore, just like they tried to destroy Donald J. Trump.
You know, in many ways, I think the Destroy Trump media will misinterpret the list of people that you mentioned, including myself. I want Roy Moore to win this race tomorrow, and they'll try and create a divide. It's actually to support the president. And I understand the president's a loyal guy, had a relationship with Luther Strange. I endorsed Mo Brooks in the first run around here. I've known him 27 years. I know he's a good man. But I do believe what you're saying here. And explain the ads that are being run, because they look like they could have been written and produced by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer.
They're worse. I mean, this is what Karl Rove and Stephen Law and Ward Baker, this is what they've done. They've tried to give ammunition to the Democrats later on if Judge Moore wins tomorrow. I mean, this is unacceptable. They've done the cruelest, nastiest ads I've ever seen to destroy Judge Moore, who's a righteous man, and his wife and his family. This is the same thing they did with Donald Trump. This is not about debating the issues. They try to destroy Donald Trump. The same gang that's going after Roy Moore is the same gang that went after Donald Trump. And I got to tell you, I think it's sometime later after tomorrow, a real, review has to be done of how President Trump got the wrong information and came down on the wrong side of the football here, because I agree with you. I love Mo Brooks, and I was really shocked to see Mo Brooks not get into the second round. Mo Brooks is a good man. Mo Brooks has stood with us. He stood with Jeff Sessions for many, many years, and he's a good man. This should have never happened. This should have never had Hannity and Palin and Levin and Dr. Savage and Laura Ingraham, all the people that are diehard Trump people, all the people that are there for the beginning. We're not sunshine patriots. We're with Donald Trump through thick and thin. This should have never happened, Sean, and this has got to be reviewed.
This is not a referendum on the president, the way the media wants to do. I would argue this is a referendum on McConnell. Do you agree with that analysis?
This is a referendum on the party at Davos and the elites in Davos and in the United States and Washington, D.C., that Mitch McConnell is the face of. Absolutely. That's what the referendum is. Very simple. Tomorrow, the good folks of Alabama are going to decide if sovereignty rests with the people or does it rest with the money. Is it going to be the muscle of the grassroots versus the money of a corrupt and incompetent permanent political class that rules Washington, D.C. like a new aristocracy?
You know, we've had similar attacks over the course of our careers. I know they called you Darth Vader. I did like your line when you were on 60 Minutes when you said, I'm a street fighter, because that's kind of how I view things. I fight for the things that I believe in and the people in this country that have been left behind. I don't know who'd win in a fight, but we fight for principle and things that are important and helping men and women that are suffering. But I resent the tactics when they used Republican on Republican. Whatever happened to Reagan's 11th commandment? Every 2 and 4 years, the Democrats say Republicans are racist, sexist, misogynist, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic. Those ads I saw down in Alabama against Roy Moore, a conservative, were run by Republicans, Steve. What's happening here?
The elites represented by Mitch McConnell, right, hold me in contempt, right? They think I'm a bad guy. They think I'm a dangerous guy. I wear their contempt as a badge of honor, okay? They have helped destroy this country. They have done nothing but allow economic hate crimes against the working men and women in the heartland of this country. The factories went to China and the drugs came in. Okay, we've got to stop it. Tomorrow in Alabama, the good folks of Alabama got a choice. This is Jeff Sessions' seat, Sean. You know how close I am to Jeff Sessions. I know how close you are to Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions has been our mentor. Jeff Sessions is a man with a pure heart and tough as boot leather. This seat is Jeff Sessions' seat. And that's why tomorrow I hope the folks in Alabama send another righteous man, a righteous man like Jeff Sessions. I hope they send Judge Moore. I hope they send Judge Moore into the runoff with the Democrat.
One comment you made since you left the White House I didn't like, and when you said to the extent that the Trump presidency that a lot of us fought for, which I think is the forgotten men and women agenda of this country, and they deserve to be served, especially after 8 years of Obama, 13 million more Americans on food stamps, 8 million more in poverty, lowest labor participation rate. These are real people, real lives, real damage. I didn't like when you said the Trump presidency we fought and voted for and you thought was over. Because you're still fighting for it, I'm still fighting for it, and people in this country are fighting for it every day. And I don't think it's over yet. I think this is only beginning in a lot of ways.
It's not going to be over if we fight and help President Trump. President Trump needs help. It's the reason I left the White House. Yeah. I told him I was going to go after the establishment. Go after the establishment first and the Democrats next. Look, it's Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan have allowed there's 3 investigative committees on Capitol Hill. They have full subpoena power. They have an unlimited budget. They're going after President Trump.
Yeah.
They're going after him every day.
Let me ask you a last question.
They're going after him every day.
I never heard of the term alt-right until this election. Never. Now, there's alt-left, radical left. So I don't even know what that means. What does it mean to you? And secondly, because they try to imply it's racist. I wanted to get your comments about the president, I think, speaking out rightly for the flag and for the anthem and for the men and women who serve this country.
You know, about taking a knee for the national anthem, I said in this speech tonight, if people in this country take a knee and the National Football League players want to take a knee, they should take a knee at night, every night. And thank God in heaven Donald J. Trump is President of the United States. He has saved this country so much grief. He has done such a tremendous job with virtually no help. And that's what I meant when I said that. I stepped out to make sure that Mitch McConnell and the Republican establishment starts to have a Republican back, because you know what? Mitch McConnell wouldn't be majority leader if Donald Trump didn't drag a half a dozen senators across the goal line in November. So it's time for the Republican establishment to step up and have the back of President Trump.
All right, Steve Bannon, hope you come on the program more often.